So flying the helicopter in Ghost Recon Wildlands is one thing, but flying the planes and not looking like you've had too many beers is a whole different ball game. So that's what we're going to look at in this video, and hopefully by the end you will have the skills to fly, turn and land without having any trouble at all. First thing I need to mention though is that I have my flight controls set up so when I pull back on my thumbstick I ascend, and when I push forward I descend. There may be players out there that has this the other way round, but for the sake of the video this is the setup I'll be referring to. So first thing, taking off is going to be one of the easiest things to do, and it's just a matter of hitting your throttle to pick up speed and then pulling back on the stick or hitting the ascend key. Then increasing or decreasing altitude whilst in flight is done by simply pulling back or pushing forward on the thumbstick depending on your setup on console, or on PC it's just hitting those ascend and descend buttons. So the next thing is turning, and the easiest way of doing this is to just lightly hit left or right but nothing else. So for example, if we use this stack as a reference for direction, I lightly hit left so that the left wing dips slightly, wait until I line up with where I want to go, and then hit right to bring the wings back level. Same with turning right, and I'll use the peak here as a reference this time, so I slightly hit right so that the right wing dips, wait until I line up, and then hit left to level the wings once again. And it's as simple as that, and as long as you don't hit any other button, then turning can be nice and smooth. If you do want to speed up the turn, then it's just a matter of increasing the dip of the wings in whatever direction you want to go. Bear in mind though, that the more you dip the wings, the more you will descend, then you may have to compensate for this by pulling back on the thumbstick or hitting the ascend button. Another way of maintaining control of your turn, a top tip is to tap in the direction you want to go. So for example, if I tap right twice, when it comes to straightening back up, I just tap twice back in the other direction to level off. For a sharp 90 or 180 degree turn, the easiest way of doing this to start off is to break it down into 3 parts. So for a 90 degree turn to the right, the first thing to do is hit right until the plane is side on. Secondly, pull back on the thumbstick or ascend button. And finally, straighten up. Same principle to turn 180 degrees. Tilt, pull back, and then level off. A little bit more of an advanced way of performing a 180, and if you have enough altitude, is to turn the plane over until inverted and pull back on the thumbstick. When it comes to avoiding missiles, then barrel rolls or sharp turns are the ways to do it. Barrel rolls are performed just by a long press of either right or left. Probably the most difficult task in regard to the planes, and what I see a lot of players struggle with, is landing. So the first thing to take into consideration is approach of a runway. If you're approaching a runway and you're already in line with it, or the angle is not too big and would only take minor adjustments, then it's simply a matter of just going in for the landing. However, if the approach is at a sharper angle, and this does depend on the situation, you can just turn away from the runway, circle around and create a straighter approach for yourself. Or you can just make the turn in if you feel it's doable. Now when it actually comes to landing, there are a few different ways of doing it, but I'm just going to go through what I do to perform the smoothest landings possible. When approaching the runway, you need to decrease altitude by either pointing the nose of the plane down, using the thumbstick, or you can do it by just hitting the brake. Ensure to decrease your speed though by releasing the throttle completely. Once you are ready to land, hold brake. The nose of the plane will then start to dip down. Pull back on the thumbstick to bring the nose back up. Just before touching down, release the brake and you've got a nice smooth landing. And once again, hold brake, pull back to bring the nose up, and release the brake just before touching down. Flying and landing the planes, as with most things, is all about practice. The more you do it, the better you will get. Anyway, that's it guys, hopefully this has helped someone out. Any thoughts, drop a comment below, drop a like if you're feeling nice, and I'll catch you next time.